Well, Hitesh, thanks for giving me this opportunity. It's been a nice session this morning. So my topic is how to search the literature effectively. I think it's a little difficult topic because there are no set guidelines or principles that's governing. Like we have a lot of big-time researchers here. They all have their own way of doing things. Like so. There is more than one way of skinning the cat. Like not many people will agree on, okay, this is the best way. But I'll try to kind of put it. Tell you guys my way. So this is kind of one of the generally accepted way of searching the literature. First, you find out what your research question is, and then you conceptualize it, and then you decide where you are going to search for the answer, and then you decide how your search strategy is going to be, and then you decide how good the research results you got it, and select which one you are going to say use and which one you are not going to use. So to tell you the truth, no, I'm not big on PICO, because when I was trained, this PICO was not a big thing, so I kind of still use what is my research question, and then I start using the keywords and start doing it. But I think PICO is one thing. I think there's a talk after this one. Once you decide what's your research question, you have a lot of options. You can go to the PubMed, you can go to the OvidSP, we can ProQuest, we have Embase, we have, you can go to the MD Consult, Science Direct, you can Cochrane. So how are you going to decide where you are going to search? Like everybody, like those days when we are getting trained, whoever can articulate their thought or whoever can talk loudly, he's right. But now there is data for everything, So yes, there is data for where to search actually. If you look at the study by Sloberg, Gian, if you use the PubMed and the Embase together, you can get at least 91% of the primary studies. And if you add the Cochrane, which is basically a review, database of reviews, you can get almost 97% of the studies. That's pretty decent. And then you have to do some unconventional searching after that. Now Google Scholar is big in US. And Google Scholar actually has been shown to give almost twice as many relevant articles as PubMed, but still I have to tell you the truth, most researchers, especially in big universities, NIH-funded researchers, they use the PubMed. And when I started, I used to go to the individual websites like the Wiley InterScience, the Scopus, Science Direct, all those things, and then search independently. But then now I realize that it's not yielding any significant new articles. So I now stick to the PubMed. Maximum I may go to the Google Scholar. I have to tell you the truth that I don't use the Embase because access is limited, and Ovid I don't have access in India. So. And if you are using a Google Scholar, you better turn off the IP address sensor because it will only give you what is pertinent for the Indian subcontinent, that it will actually list it that way. So you have to kind of turn it off. Once you decided which database you are going to use, now I use the PubMed. I go to the PubMed and then I use the search term, like the keyword, or there are two ways you can do it. One, you find the article that very closely matches your research question. For example, you want to do a research on extended trochanteric osteotomy, internal hip revision hip replacement. You just put in, if it is a non-clinical guy, then he may use a replacement and all those things. So there are some specified mesh terms for those kind of guys, but for surgeons who know the exact term, so you can go and find the article that closely matches your article, and then you try to go to the related article. That's what I usually do. But the recommended method is first you kind of identify the mesh terms that will closely match your research question, and then once you have some kind of results, you go into the mesh term of each result, and then you try to kind of combine them with the booleans, the PubMed boolean. So these are the two ways, as I said, either you can use the mesh terms or you can click on the relevant article. So if you don't use the mesh term, your results will be too many and it will be irrelevant. So if you use the mesh term, the accuracy improves. And this is the first page, the home page of the PubMed. You see all those things, the clinical queries, the single citation matcher. You can put the clinical query there and get the result and take it from there. So also you can do an advanced search in the PubMed, go into the individual journals and actually do it, but that's not the effective way of doing it. So, as I said, like if you put an extended trochanteric osteotomy, you'll have a bunch of things, and if you see the rounded area, that contains all the mesh terms and the Boolean things. So you can take these mesh terms and then add it with your other terms you are thinking about, maybe revision, maybe, like cables or something like that, and then you can generate more results. Once you have your results, and what happens is it keeps giving you the same result again and again. So I usually try to create my own collections. So I have a login. You can use a Google to log in. You can get into the PubMed and save all your searches there. And once you save all your searches, so that's all the login, So it will list your thing. So the next time when you go because the search sometimes happen over a period of time. So later on when you go search, you find more article, you can keep adding on to that. And once you done all your, once you found all the relevant necessary article, then you try to export it to the PubMed, some of the citation managers. That's the difficult process. You have to manually enter that. I don't think there is any way you can effectively transfer the PubMed articles to one of the referencing softwares. And once you go through all the abstracts, what you have to do is try to find the full text of the pertinent articles. I've had one resident who I asked him to write an article, and he went through all the abstracts and wrote a manuscript. I said that's unacceptable, that's unethical. The relevant article, you have to beg, borrow, or steal and get the full text. And you have to then look at the back references, and you have to snowball the references and find more articles. So that's very important. Your literature search will decide. You don't want your reviewer quote an article and saying you have missed this article. It's it is a big. And then I use an EndNote. Efficiency is about doing it in effectively means you have to do it in a quick and a reproducible manner, less input and more output. So I use EndNote, and I create a library there, and I try to export all the citations there. And there in the EndNote you have a option to search the PubMed, so you can go through that, or you can manually enter it. So, and then there's some of my publications. So apart from the index journals, you have to also go through the gray literature. Gray literature is something that's published in non-indexed areas in the PubMed, in the internet, and also all the conferences, all those things. So it is better to include if you want to have a comprehensive study. And once you have all the articles, you need to choose, because now there is so much literature, you can find evidence to support anything. You need to find not only about the studies, but also the quality of the studies. I always look for where the study is from, which country. Is it a country with a very high human development index, very regulated country, or is it published in one of the top journals? And see what kind of study is it? Is it a case series? Is it RCT? And the power is very important. The power of the study is very important. And then you include those studies, with maximum citations. So in nutshell, it's a very, very difficult process when you are starting it. You may find it very intimidating, so you need to have a thorough subject knowledge to find out what's relevant and what's not relevant. You take the help from your guide, and also, with the experience, you'll know how to do it. Some references for that. And my postgraduate, Munish, helped me with this presentation. I would like to thank him for that. Thank you.